Something else that's been kind of running through my mind is the concept of how we perceive value. During the interactions that I had with one of my friends, they were like, oh, we are equals. And while I'm not going to ever, well, there's a couple of things. I think we should all individually value ourselves more than any other person. I'm not saying that other people don't have an infinite amount of value, but the only perspective that anybody can ever operate from is the perspective that you are in. So I don't think it's inherently wrong to simply value yourself and pride, or I wouldn't say pride, but value yourself more than others to a certain degree. Because if not, then I don't think that you're able to necessarily operate out of a healthy perspective out of this human experience. But to take that a step further, it's hard for me to then say that the way that another person will consider us to be equals will actually be considered such. Because if you yourself do not value yourself and you are then saying that I am your equal from the perspective that you don't even hold yourself to have any value, then the scale in which we're speaking about is already skewed. If you are saying that we're all equals, but you yourself don't even think that you can change the world, that you yourself don't think that you have free will, that what you do doesn't have an impact on other people, and that you are not worth much, then I'm not going to devalue myself in that exact same breath to then consider myself your equal. To even take that a step further, I probably value you more than you value yourself. But that's not going to then allow me to then consider that just because of the fact that you value yourself lesser than whatever the fuck you value yourself and then I need to consider myself as such. I love myself to an infinite degree in ways that nobody could ever fathom and nobody should ever should. Nobody ever can because nobody's ever experienced every second, every millisecond, every moment of my existence aside from myself. And that's why, and vice versa, you yourself should also value yourself in that exact same way. Am I saying that I am like, some being who, you know, my shit doesn't stink? That if there was a line that I should put myself ahead of other individuals? Not at all. That's not what I'm getting at. But if you yourself can't value who you are and understand the capacity of what you are able to do, then why would I then hold myself to the standard that you're holding yourself at when I value both of us so far past what you even value yourself? Especially within the Western world, especially within paradigms where there is a marginalized group and then an oppressor, where there are people who might be privy to more power, to more access to being able to exert their will on other individuals. If somebody else's will was to have me devalue myself, not see the potential of my power, not see the potential of what I'm able to do and change, right? And you then accept that perspective to be your own, especially within certain religious paradigms, because so many religious paradigms will, and this is literally just, I mean, we can look up songs. If I don't mind going upstairs right now and simply Googling some Christian songs and looking at the lyrics and seeing how so much of this rhetoric is around how we are lesser than, how we are worthless, how we need this external force, how we are basically just the scum of the fucking earth, and how we are useless without some external force. So if people then approach the concept of self-value from that perspective, why would I then hold myself to the standard that you hold yourself? Now, I want to be very clear. I think that we are all the divine walking within this physical realm. So I don't see myself better than a fucking ant on this planet. And if I can stop myself from having to even kill an ant, I will do such. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm inherently saying anything along the lines of I think I'm better than anybody. But what I am saying is I don't think people value themselves enough to then allow me to be compared to what you are then valuing yourself as. I think you are a divine being. I think that you have an infinite amount of value, and your perspective is unique for a good reason. You've walked the life that you've walked, you've lived the life that you've lived for every good reason for you to then experience things from the viewpoint that you have. So that for whatever reason, even if I'm not able to understand it from the perspective that I'm sitting in right now, you're able to then impact other individuals in ways that might be beneficial in ways that I can't necessarily get. The actions that we do and the things that we do, we don't always necessarily understand the impact that we have on other individuals. So I'm going to operate under the belief that we are all divine individuals, that we all have an infinite amount of wisdom held within our experiences, and that we're all meant to share those experiences and basically, help each other grow from the interactions that we have. And if you are operating from the perspective that your word, your existence, you yourself has no weight within that, then I can't adhere to that. And I think we should all value ourselves a lot, because who else if and not to say that other people don't value us, right? Other people of course are going to interact with us and appreciate us and love us and think that we are, really cool individuals. But if you yourself don't have the capacity to then even accept that love or recognize it, or recognize your capacity to then be what other people are even admiring, then what good does it do you?